In this video, I will be explaining a set of Chinese funeral rituals. The images and footage shown in this video is of a Chaodu rite on the verge of being lost. People ensure that the deceased enter the afterlife safely and are reborn as new beings. This is a depiction of my personal experience with my family. All the material was captured with the consent of the family members and Taoist practitioners. This publication is for academic purposes in the field of salvage anthropology. First, the timeline. Memorial meeting, burial in the public cemetery. The relatives were wearing white xiaobu, the mourning garb. There is an idiom in Chinese, 披麻戴孝, which basically means to dress in the coarse hempen cloth of mourning. In rural areas of China, a popular mourning garb system is called 五服, 5 types of clothes. The 5 types of mourning clothes come in different colors and fabrics, and different colors and fabrics represent different identities. And grave visit. 头七 meaning the first 7 on the 7th day after a person's demise, during which time, according to rituals, the deceased are believed to return home. Family members are expected to leave a meal as an offering, but they must also go to bed early to avoid disturbing the deceased, as it is believed that the lingering attachment of the deceased to the human world can affect their rebirth. 五七 meaning 5-7, the 35th day after a person's death, in which they come to the human life again. In the Mourning Hall, my relatives adhered a piece of tinfoil to the portrait of the deceased. The foil immediately adhered to the face of the image, which was taken as a sign that the deceased had returned to the human world. In response, everyone present clapped their hands and performed a gesture of respect by kowtowing. Family members took turns to guard the mourning hall until dawn broke. This is the mourning hall. The words mean, deeply mourn my mother. She was diligent and thrifty all her life. The flower is black and white to represent the world of the deceased. Black and white are seen to symbolize solemnity and dignity. The king of hell sent the black and white impermanence, known as 黑白无常 in Chinese culture, to retrieve souls from the human world. And this is a wooden mini Naihe Bridge. The Naihe Bridge is a necessary place for sending souls to be reborn. At this location, an elderly female deity named Meng Po serves a bowl of Meng Po soup to each soul, erasing the memories of their past life. This allows the soul to be reborn in the next life. A prepared meal for the returning soul. In the Wuqi, 14 Taoists were invited. In the 6-room mourning hall, there were 2 ashrams adorned with many glistening gold-colored plaques on display. There were 2 separate mourning halls allocated for the deceased, each room displaying the memorial tablets of the deceased as well as their ancestors. Additionally, there were 2 rooms designated as rest areas and workshops for folding yuanbao made of tin foil. In the afterlife, yuanbao is considered as a type of ingot currency and can repay debts from past lives. It was used in the real world in Imperial China. Men donned white hats, white shoes and white ribbons around the waist, having kept their hair and beads in such a manner for 35 days. Ladies adorned themselves with white shoes, white hair clips upon their heads, and white gauze ribbons encircling their waists. While reciting Taoist scriptures, the Taoists bent low, bowing, and all the guests followed suit. Each session, equivalent to 1 stick of incense, took roughly 15 minutes to complete. After that, they paid homage at the deceased's memorial tablet through burning incense and kowtowing. Following a precise order, First the children, then grandchildren, and direct relatives, followed by relatives and close friends to repeat the motions. With the continuing recitation of scripture, after completing a class, the Taoists struck the gong, signaling the next round in which everyone bowed once more. Occasionally, the Taoist priests would emerge from the Mourning Hall, moving towards the memorial tablet to recite somber verses and chant incantations. When the name of the deceased was mentioned, the mourners were seized with tears. The Taoist priests initiated the recitation of Taoist scriptures at 7:30 a.m., with the ritual lasting until 11 a.m., spanning a duration of 3.5 hours, continuous and uninterrupted. After lunch, the operations continued as they had done earlier in the day. Burning incense serves as a medium for the integration of yin and yang energies, allowing the deceased to feel the mournful emotions of their loved ones. The smoke and scent of burning incense can bridge the boundary between the mortal realm and the afterlife, enabling the senses of the deceased. Incense is seen as a symbol of the continuity of the family line, and its interruption is thought to bring decline upon the family. It is worth noting that traditional Chinese beliefs do not consider women as carriers of the family line. By 3 p.m., the life-size Naihe Bridge, constructed from steel pipes, was fully completed. A long white cloth was laid upon the bridge. Immediate family members knelt on one side, while 7 Taoist priests, dressed in red and green robes, proceeded to ascend the bridge in sequence, each holding Taoist scriptures. The youngest grandson held a summoning banner for the deceased soul, and the second grandson held a memorial tablet. The eldest grandson held the deceased portrait. Following the recitation of prayers by the Taoist priest, the youngest grandson climbed onto the bridge first. The Taoist priest continued reciting scriptures for a while, climbing one step at a time on the overpass only after completing each volume. The grandsons traversed the bridge one after another, symbolically accompanying the deceased smoothly through the Naihe Bridge. Three grandsons came down from the bridge. The rite continued. Beating gongs and drums is to clear the way for the deceased to reach the other world, telling all the immortals that they have come and hoping that the immortals will take good care of them. The Taoist priests chanted the names of all the relatives in order of seniority. The Taoists got down from the bridge and walked around it. The entire Naihe Bridge ritual lasted for more than half an hour. Back in the Mourning Hall, the Taoists kept chanting the scriptures. Relatives bent over, bowed, burned incense, and caught. Every relative caught 2 people each time. On the ground, uncooked white rice was used to draw patterns of animals, fields, etc. Oil lamps were lit, indicating that the deceased would have a life of abundance and comfort in the afterlife. The Taoist priests in red and green robes bowed their heads and knelt down to pay homage. They took turns kneeling and reciting poems, then stood up. The representatives of the descendants held the tablets. The first son and then the son-in-law took turns walking around the pattern and the paper flower boat 3 times. This is the paper flower boat. The Taoists changed into golden threaded ropes and took cups of water to dip the water droplets onto the palms of the worshippers. Then everyone's last kneeling and bowing was completed. All the Taoist scriptures recited were burned and given to the deceased. Finally, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the paper flower bridge, tinfoil ingot, black and white gauze, along with the miniature Naihe Bridge made of wood, were all gathered together and burned simultaneously. This act coincided with a moment when yang energy weakened and yin energy began to ascend, creating a more favorable atmosphere for the deceased to draw near their loved ones.